There was music from my neighbor's house through the summer nights. In his blue gardens, men and girls came and went like moths. I believe that on the first night I went to Gatsby's house, I was one of the few guests who had actually been invited. People were not invited. They went there. Once they were introduced by somebody who knew Gatsby, and after that they conducted themselves according to the rules of behavior associated with an amusement park. I had actually been invited. I went over to his lawn a little after 7 and wandered around rather ill at ease among swirls and eddies of people I did not know. I was on my way to get roaring drunk from sheer embarrassment when Jordan Baker came out of the house and stood at the head of the steps, leaning a little backward and looking with contemptuous interest down into the garden.
Couple A's, couple goose, couple Chris Hales, something worth a half a ticket on my wrist. Taking all the liquor straight never.
Hello.
I thought you'd be here. I knew you lived next door. Hi!
You don't remember us, but we've seen you here before.
You dyed your hair since then. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, do you guys come to these parties often?
Last one we went to was when we met you.
I like to come. I don't care what I do, as long as I have fun.
The conversation soon turned to the subject of our mysterious host, and the women swapped rumors of his past with one another.
Say he's killed a man.
I don't think it's so much that. I think it's more that he was a German spy in the war.
You just look at him sometimes when he's not even looking. I bet he killed a man.
Intrigued by all these rumors, Jordan and I decided to look for our host, Gatsby.
It's much too polite for me. See you later.
Bye.
We searched the dining area trying to find our host, but he was not there. Neither was he among the group of people in the living room. After what felt like hours of pointless searching, Jordan and I decided to look in the library for him.
Well, what do you think?
About what?
About that. As a matter of fact, you needn't bother to ascertain. I ascertained. They're real.
The books?
Absolutely real. Here, pages. And everything. I thought they'd be a durable cardboard, but as a matter of fact, they're absolutely real.
Jordan and I decided to continue our search for Gatsby, shook hands with the man I dubbed Owl Eyes, and went back outdoors.
Your face is familiar. Were you in the 3rd Division during the war?
Why, yes. I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion.
I was in the 7th Infantry until June 1918. I knew I'd seen you somewhere before.
We talked for a moment about some wet, gray little villages in France. Evidently, he lived in this vicinity, for he told me that he had just bought a hydroplane and was going to try it out in the morning. This is an unusual
Party for me. I haven't even seen the host yet. I live right over there, and this Gatsby had a chauffeur sent over to me with an invitation.
I'm Gatsby.
Sorry, I didn't know it was you.
I thought you knew, old school. I'm afraid I haven't been a very good host.
Quite alright.
He smiled understandingly, much more than understandingly. It was one of those rare smiles with the quality of eternal reassurance in it that you may come across 4 or 5 times in life.
Such a long chapter.
Oh, excuse me. Must take a phone call from Philadelphia.
Who is he, and what does he do?
He's just a man named Gatsby.
I mean, where is he from?
He says he went to Oxford, but I don't believe him.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't think he went there. He gives lots of large parties, though.
Great party.
I know, except for that stupid dog over there.
Miss Baker, I beg your pardon. Mr. Gatsby would like to see you.
With me?
Yes, ma'am. Right, this way.
After some time, I was still alone, and it was almost 2.
I just heard the most amazing thing. How long were we in there for?
About an hour.
I swore I wouldn't tell, but here I am taunting you. I gotta go. See you later.
Rather ashamed that I'd stayed so late on my first appearance to one of Gatsby's parties, I joined the rest of Gatsby's guests, who were clustered around him.
Ah, I was trying to find you earlier on tonight. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you when I should have.
Don't mention it. Don't give it another thought, old sport. And don't forget, we're going up in the hydroplane at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Very well.
Sir, a telephone call for you.
Well, alright, tell him I'll be in just a minute. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, old sport.
I left the mansion after he went to take his call, but as I walked down the steps, I saw that the evening was not quite over.
Oh my god!
Are you okay? What happened?
I don't know anything about driving.
But how did it happen?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Reading over what I've written so far, I see I've given the impression that recent events were all that absorbed my time. On the contrary, they were of no great significance to me until later that summer. Most of the time I worked in the city. I began to like the racy, adventurous vibe of New York. For a while, I lost sight of Jordan Baker, and then midsummer, I found her. I wasn't actually in love, but I felt a tender sort of curiosity. She was incurably dishonest, but dishonesty, woman, is a thing you never blame deeply. Everyone suspects himself of at least one of the cardinal virtues, and this is mine. I am one of the few honest people that I have ever known.
I've seen the world, done it all, had my cake now. Diamonds, brilliant, in Bel Air now. Hot summer nights, when you and I were forever wild, crazy days, city lights, when you would play with me like a child. Will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I've got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer beautiful? I've seen the world, lit it up as my stage now. Channeling
Getting drunk already?
angels in the new age now. Hot summer days, rock and roll, the way you played for me at your show, and all the ways I got to know.
My cousin had a wedding and her fiance loves cigars, so
Behind the scenes action. Behind the scenes.
Will you still love me
Getting drunk already?
young and beautiful? Will you still love me when I've got nothing but my aching soul? I know you will, I know you will, I know that you will. Will you still love me when I'm no longer?
Hey guys, this is our Great Gatsby group for Chapter 3. I'm Casey, I play girl number 2.
I'm Teresa. I play Jordan Baker.
Danny, I'm playing Nick Carraway.
Allie, I'm playing girl number 2.
I'm Zach. I played Jay Gatsby.
And this is the commentary for our movie. So we did Chapter 3 of The Great Gatsby, and in this chapter, Nick Carraway, played by Danny, is invited to a party at Gatsby's. Like some of the things we decided to do to stay true to the book was to use direct quotations from the book. We tried to dress according to the times, just as close as we possibly could. The props, like Danny's typewriter, was actually from the 1920s, so we tried to make it as genuine as possible. In Chapter 3 of The Great Gatsby, Nick Carraway, played by Danny Irving, is invited to a party at Jay Gatsby's. He goes to the party and searches for his host. He meets up with potential romantic interest Jordan Baker, played by Teresa Leo. They wander around Gatsby's mansion, coming across some strange guests like allies, played by Jorge Zurita. Nick and Jordan eventually meet a young man who turns out to be their host, Jay Gatsby, played by Zach Teasy. Gatsby and Jordan discuss a secret privately towards the end of the party. Nick leaves the estate only to come across a fender bender caused by the intoxicated allies. The chapter ends with Nick giving an internal monologue of his thoughts on Jordan, Gatsby, and life in New York City.
What
was your favorite part of filming?
My favorite part of filming was having us all together and acting out, which was really fun. It was fun to go back over the bloopers and see how funny we looked trying to act.
My favorite part was dressing up in 20s outfits and sparkly dresses and doing our hair all curled up and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, like Zach said, I just like spending the whole day filming with our friends. That was a lot of fun. I had a fun time doing that, and then editing the video was also a lot of fun for me just because I enjoy doing that type of stuff, so that was pretty good.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, what was your favorite part?
I think it was, my favorite part was just the people that we worked with. Everyone worked so well together. It just kind of like flowed, and there were like no hiccups other than the bloopers that actually kind of just made the movie even better.
Yeah.
So Zach, what do you think is the most important event that happened in the chapter?
I think the most important part of the chapter was when Nick, as well as the audience, finally gets to meet Gatsby, which it's important because we've heard rumors and other stories about Gatsby that may or may not be true, but now we formally get to meet him and we see how he acts and how he interacts with his guests.
Okay. So Zach, how did we try to convey Gatsby's mysteriousness in the film?
To show how mysterious Gatsby was, in our film we showed him looking over his guests over a balcony. We showed him away from all of his guests, not interacting with anyone else, and that's about it.
So how well did our movie correlate with the book?
I think it correlated pretty well considering we took lines from the book and used it as our dialogue, and we dressed up according to how fashion was back then, and we used Danny's 1920 typewriter, which fit perfectly in with the movie. So I think we kind of nailed it.
Nice. So Allie, what do you think was the hardest part about shooting this film?
Definitely getting in front of the camera and not laughing or not freezing up and completely forgetting your lines, which also was fun because then there's more bloopers to watch.
Okay. So why did you pick the music that you did for the movie?
Okay, so with the music, we tried to use music from today's time that people would enjoy, but we found versions online that put a 1920s spin on it, so it would kind of be like in line with the time of the movie, but also music that people would enjoy to listen to now, so it could be enjoyable for the viewers and historically correct.
So Danny, what was your opinion on the character you played, Nick Carraway?
I thought Nick was a man who was kind of lost in a dream. He kind of wanted to fit in with people in West Egg and people who were rich and wealthy when he was just this little man who didn't have really any money. He was very easily persuaded by Gatsby because he just heard all these rumors and he just kind of went with them until he actually met Gatsby. Then he kind of formed his own rumors, but still he just kind of listened to whatever Gatsby said and went with whatever he said. So I mean, I think overall he was a pretty reliable narrator also, except for the 2 times he was drunk. But besides that, I believed most of what he told in the story to be true.
So do you think you and Carraway, are you guys similar in any way?
I mean, I guess I could say that I can relate to him because I know what it's like to want to fit in somewhere but not entirely fit in with the group that you would want to be with. So I can understand what it's like to be him at times.
Right.